Hey traders, let's have a market update time. Let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Oh my goodness. Market update time. Let's get straight into it. So, let's have a look at, we're going to have a look at all the indexes in this video and share with you what I see. So looking at the markets and looking at what's actually happening here and what's going on here with the Dow Jones 30, we can see that it had a small little update, but if you look at this chart down the bottom here, and I'm showing this chart here because, guys, sometimes when you're doing your trading and you're doing analysis, you want to be able to get different views and different opinions based on the chart. Who cares about my opinion? What the chart is telling you. And so you can actually see what is actually going on here with the chart. And so you can see there's actually a couple of things that I can see just by looking at the eye of what's going on here. Now again, I could be making this up. Let me just do this here. Let me go with green. And I can actually see there's something like, there's some sort of significant trend line going on through there. No, I'm making that up, that one. So let's actually go back and do it again. And there's some sort of significant from that point there to that point there. Probably making that one up too. But I do notice look, on the short-term basis, let's actually bring up the trend line. I do notice that there is something going on up through there. Can you see that? Can you see how that, let me go blue here. Can you see how the market rejected it through there, and it's had all this rejection, and we're at that point right now. So you can see how that line through there has been sort of a resistance line. And plus now we're actually at this area of resistance. We're still struggling to fully break past on this Dow Jones chart here. Now guys, in the last couple of months, the charts have been saying to me that the market's bearish. But I've got to be completely honest with you. There is nothing but bullishness on the charts now. Everything has changed around at this very moment. That means right now as I speak, everything is changed around to a bullish mode. That, for me, my personal opinion, will change over the next month or so. I believe we're going to go back into a bearish phase and we're going to go back into a downward phase. Okay, but for right now, we have, ever since the last week, all the weekly charts and daily charts are speaking bullish to me, and I'm not going to say there's not, because I think the market's going to go down. I do long term think the market's going to go down and going to go down hard, but I don't know about who knows about that. But what I do say is that the markets right now are looking bullish. They're looking strong. Again, I just don't think they're going to last. So you can see where the Dow Jones at, still actually struggling through there. And if I bring up this chart here, you can see just pretty much a little. The Dow Jones gave like a little doji day, basically a nothing day at the highs. This is the high for the year. This is the high for last year, the absolute highest point for last year. So you can see that's what happened through there. Let's go have a look at that's silver. So now the S&P had a little doji day as well too. You can see by looking at this chart here, guys, little doji day. You know, basically a break-even day for all the markets. We've had this big run up. It's really this, and the guys, what I've actually done here is this. Let me actually squeeze this up. Let me actually open up this chart here. What I've actually done here is this. I've looked on the chart and I said, okay, let's actually go back to this one here. All right, and what I've done here is this. I said, okay, I'm looking at this chart right now, and I can see that this here was the ultimate high for last year. Plus also we have a lot of significant support and resistance around this black line here. That's why they're two different colors. This blue line here for me is the all-time high. Obviously we've breached that now, but then also just below it is this really good support level. This is something I'm keeping a major eye on for. And let me show you why. Let me go back to this screen here, and I'm going to, let me see if I can just open this chart up a bit more. You guys can see that, right? So you can see this chart here, and let me explain to you the reason why I'm focusing on the S&P right now. I'm focusing on the Dow Jones too, and I'll be keeping an eye on, this is the Dow Jones, I'll be keeping an eye on that. If I'm going to do the similar thing to the it's probably around there somewhere. This is the area of where it's had a lot of problems with resistance. Let me go back to the line chart. And yeah, so probably around that whole area through there is indeed a good support level. That whole roundabout the, but probably just looking at this line chart here, that whole area there, around the 18,100. Let me just edit that for a minute and take off the value because I'm not really worried about the value. That high value, that's basically the high value there. But that black line is there. Now here's what I'm looking for. I'm about to put on a 6-figure position, and I'm not kidding here. I am about to put on a 6-figure position in this market. I've put on smaller positions in this market, but I'm getting ready to put on a 6-figure long-term position. And here's what I'm looking for. When I look at the Dow Jones and I look at the S&P, I can see there's a pattern that's forming here. So what I'm looking for is this. Is this market, or if this market starts to fail here, hear me out. If this market starts to fail here and we open and we actually run down, or we open and we run down and we break past this high through here and we break past that high through there, and then we start to run up through there, and then we start to create this lower peak and lower trough, breaking past and now using this as a resistance. For me, if we start to get that is the final top for me. And if that happens, I will be putting on a 6-figure short position on the markets. Now, I don't know what I'll be doing, whether it's the VIX or whether it's the SPY or whether it's the QQQ. But it's probably going to be the SPY, but I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I'm just letting you know that I have a 6-figure position I'm about to put on. That's how confident I am in what I see. And the reason why is basically because if this fails right here and starts to create this trough here, and the market runs up and creates this lower peak, and then we start to run down, starting to cross below these levels through here. If that happens, that is the final top in the market. If this happens, this will be the final top in the market. And if you know anything about triple tops in the markets, then you'll be able to see what's going on here. You can actually see that we have this 1 major top, 2 major top, 3 major top. 3 major top failure. If that fails and it breaks down, we're going to get penetration of these lows, and it's going to keep going down. Now that may not happen in one day, and I don't expect that to happen like straight away. But what I do say, guys, is this, is that looking at this market, if that happens, that is the final coffin that I'm looking for to place my big position I'm looking for. I've already got a massive position in silver. I've got smaller trades in the QQQ and the SPY. And I have a lot of other smaller trades as well too. But for my real big confident position, I'm talking about put my balls on the line. I'm looking to place a 6-figure trade of my own money. I'm looking to place a 6-figure trade on the SPY or the QQQ, one of those, if this happens, because this is the final top that I'm looking for. The Nasdaq and the Russell are already showing major topping patterns, major lower peaks, and so on and so forth. It's the Dow Jones and the S&P that hasn't been. But if we start to get that, I don't care what happens in the economy, this is the final coffin. This is the final nail in the head that I'm looking for. And then, yes, I do see some big movement for the rest of the year coming down. Now, I'm talking about a long-term short position. And I'm going to be splitting it up like this. So let's actually talk about this here. My first position, so 80%, maybe even 90%. I haven't figured that out yet, but maybe even 90%. I'm at 90%. I'm 80%. I'm buying long term. We're talking long term. We're talking like 2018 expiration or end of 2017 expiration. Call options. All right, call options. Here. And then say that'll be 80%. And then I'm buying, and then the other, say 20%, I'm buying calls, but I'm looking at, say, end of 2017. But I am buying so far out of the money that these options are going to cost me 1 or 2 cents. And that is my big long-term confident position. And so I'm letting you guys know what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. Guys, I trade this market every day. I have so much money in these markets. Guys, right now I have 7 figures in this markets. With the funds I have available and the funds I'm trading right now, collectively there's 7 figures in the markets right now that I have. I'm not a small little trader, guys. All right. So when I'm saying something and doing something in the markets, I'm a fairly big trader, but that means I also have a lot more risk on my side as well too. So I need to be smart about the way I trade. That's why I did the video this morning about the way I trade. Right, if you haven't seen that, go back to the video just before this. Right, because you've got to be smart about the way you trade. Okay, so, but I wanted this video to share with you what I'm doing. Guys, I may be wrong. And I may be wrong. And that's the reason why this first call option is going to be way in the money. Because I'm giving myself that big buffer. So even if it is wrong over the next year, which I don't think it is, but if I am wrong over the next year, then this 80% position is not going to hit me too much, and this one here is going to be totally wiped out. If I am right, this whole 6-figure position could be a 7-figure profit for me. Just this one trade alone. Let alone the silver trade and the VIX trade I got going on. So I hope you can see, guys, that trading is all about being smart about the way you trade. I've been waiting to put on another big size position. I have 2 other big size positions right now: silver, SLV, and also the VIX. Now I'm ready to roll out those VIX to the end of the year, say December, maybe even January if I can. But looking at the markets right now, 1 top, 2 top, 3 top, we start to fail through here, guys. This is just going to keep going down, and we're going to start getting this sort of action. Especially if the Deutsche Bank, especially if that happens. There's so many things happening in the markets right now. So we can see that's what's happening there in the Dow Jones, guys. And guys, I want to tell you this because I told you guys, I'm on the road to my best year ever this year. And I'm being completely honest. With the funds that I have personally and the funds that I have available to trade, I'm just being honest with you what I'm doing right now. Now, there are bigger numbers that I'm trading, but also what comes with the territory is a bigger risk as well too. But also, if you're smart with that, there's much bigger profit as well too. All right, so you've got to be smart about the way you trade, and you've got to be happy with the risk. All right. So with all that being said, guys, that's what I'm looking at on the S&P. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Looking on the Russell, let's have a quick look at the Russell here. The Russell is still struggling at that resistance level too, guys. You can see that this resistance level here, support, resistance, and we're getting all this resistance through here. So again, the Russell to me overall, guys, the Russell to me is it's looking weak. We've got this major head and shoulder formation, meaning, left shoulder, big head, right shoulder, and then we have this move to the high side. Is this going to fail here? Well, that's yet to be seen, short term anyway. But the same for the Nasdaq had this major lower peak, and now we're forming this peak here. But what do we have here once again? Like on the Nasdaq, right? That's where I actually like the QQQ overall. than more than the S&P. And if we start to get those patterns that I'm looking for over probably maybe the next month or two, it's probably going to take that long to form those things. Then I'm looking to pound it for next year, end of next year, maybe even start of 2018, long-term position, and really placing it, and looking to ride this thing, because some people say, you see all these people making big money in crashes. Well, guys, this is all about timing, right? You hear all the fundamentals, and then when you wait for that bigger technical chart, and then boom, you get in there, and guess what? And then you hold on. So by looking at the QQQ as well, too, guys, the QQQ for me has the most downside to come, I believe. But looking at the QQQ, and actually let's just go back to the Nasdaq here for a minute. The QQQ follows along with the Nasdaq quite well. What do we see here? Obviously, we see this major lower peaks going down, and if I bring up, say, this chart here. If I bring up this monthly chart, what do we... Hang on a minute. I don't want to print. I want to open you up. What do we see here? Right? Yeah, you can see what's happening here now. Right? Let's delete that. Right? So this big long-term monthly chart, that's that downward sloping trend. And as you can see, we've even got a sloping downward movement through here as well too. On this monthly chart, this major lower low. If we fail through here, guys, which I believe we will fail, and again, who knows, okay? Who knows? I may be wrong and the market might go up. Guess what? My big position doesn't go on, and I'm okay with that. Because guess what? Silver's going to go up. You know what I mean? It's like, and if not, the VIX will eventually spike. I'm going to be fine. All right? So... But looking at this market here and looking at this position here, if we start to get if we start, especially the monthly bar, if we start to get a failure through here, and we get, say, a monthly close below that 4,700 level, then that to me, guys, is the level of saying, bum, bum, like, this is the time it starts to go down. These are the things, guys, these are the things I'll be looking for to put my big position on. And I'll be watching the QQU, SPY, and I'll be watching over the next couple of months. Because I'm waiting to put my big position on moving into 2017. The crash might happen this year, it might happen next year, but I believe we're likely to get some significant movement over the next 12 months or so. That's the reason why I'm telling you guys, and I'm alerting you guys, and let you guys know what I'm looking for and what I'm doing. But I also do know, guys, that I may be wrong, and the trade may not work out, and I'm okay with that risk as well too. Okay? So because the reward. The potential of this happening more times than not is so far greater. So looking at that there, and then also the VIX, guys, the VIX has actually dropped back a little bit more. Just quickly on the VIX, the VIX has actually dropped back a little bit more as well too. Just down. Now it's at the 13 level, guys. To me, any more downside on the VIX, and it's a still right now. If you're looking to buy, say, December expiration. Like, this is a still right now for me personally, and you can see how low it gets. This bottom trend line is generally how low it doesn't hardly ever get below this sort of bottom line here. So this bottom line here, if it does drop down again, that's like the low it ever gets, and it might break up back up to 18. So guys, that's what I'm looking for. If we get another little dip tomorrow, guys, I'm buying the VIX. I'm gonna get into the VIX, so I'm gonna buy more VIX. Why? Because it's just accumulation. I'm going to be rolling over mines. I've got a couple of months worth of expiration. I'll be rolling them over to the end of the year. I'll be buying more VIX, and I'm going to enjoy the ride. So there we go, guys. There's a bit of a market update for you guys. I hope that you can see where I'm at and what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. And guys, put it this way, that as I said before, I'm in these markets every day. I'm not this guy who's going to do these videos. No, I'm in the markets every day doing my trading, right? And I've got my own money in the markets as well too, and I feel it when I have a losing trade, and I feel it when I have a winning trade, and that's what it's all about. Okay, so guys, please, I must stress this out. I'm not saying these numbers here to look proud or whatever. No, that doesn't mean anything, right? Because as soon as you start to get ego in the market's going to slap you. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is that what I'm looking for in these markets, and what I'm with the S&P and stuff like that, I'm looking to put on a big position, all right? I'm looking to put on a real big position for the downside. That's how confident I am that the market is going to have some significant movement over the next 12 months. This is John Howell here. Remember, success can be yours if you go claim it. So step up, take massive action, and face your fears. today. I'm not going to BS you here. Trading is hard. Over my 10 years of trading, I've learned some amazing systems and strategies, and I've put it all in my brand new Grab the Markets by the Balls course, and I'm giving you 100% free access. This whole course is 12 videos long and almost 10 hours of the best systems and strategies that I know. Click on the image below now to get 100% free access right now.